Oh,
Right panel.
it's a miracle. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
I think there is.
Are we live?
I think we might be. We might be. Look, we've been. Okay, thankfully, there's no one there. Okay, so I think what happens is you just have to. Oh no! We want to be signed out. Sign out. Somebody is there. Hopefully, you can see us.
Wherever
Hello.
you are, hi, welcome. Sorry, we've been having slight
technical problems.
Technical problem. I think we could say that. I think.
Okay, we'll have to use that. 5 people already there.
Oh, good.
Oh,
so
good.
We're all here in Serengeti, as you can see. Don't know where you guys are. I hope it's wonderful.
Jumbo Thompson Safari.
Jumbo.
Hi, Ali. How you doing?
Oh, does it tell? Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Hi there.
Where does it say?
On the right there.
Right here.
Oh,
And they've been coming. Sorry, I don't know what your name is.
Is that Ali?
Is it Ali?
Is that Ali?
Great questions, lovely comments. Thanks so much for all of that. It's really a boost for us. Thanks a lot. So,
Right, why don't you start with some of your questions?
couple of questions, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got some questions lined up from various people who've been coming in already. So the first one actually is not a question; it's a comment, if I may. You know, with the Grant's gazelle yesterday, and I said that as far as I knew, they were never observed drinking water.
This comment, which is very interesting because it's you're doing it right at the beginning where there's very few of us watching.
We'll save that. We'll save that for later. Okay, here's one to get us going then. Okay. So here's a question from, I don't know who it's from actually, but the question is, has anyone noticed that Paul cackles like a hyena in this one?
Stupid! I have a very deep and manly laugh.
So do hyenas.
So do hyenas.
Good, good.
Come
Alrighty,
on.
so
That's a terrible.
I need to move in a little bit. don't I?
Hey,
Squeeze up a little bit, John. There's a bit of space.
Okay,
I don't want to be left out of this. I want
just
you to-
tell. Can you tell Jules to just she goes to her channel and then she'll find us.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So another
Oh,
question.
hi Em.
Hi.
There are 3
Hi.
links. Some people watching other links. Oh, rats. Okay, you guys carry on.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I've disconnected on my one, so it shouldn't be there.
That's fine. No. It's that was the problem with.
Okay. We are definitely
Thank you,
having
Nikki.
technical glitches
Having
today.
some
It
technical
has not
glitches.
been smooth running, so
Okay.
bear with us. We'll sort this out.
So that.
So can I press on with questions then?
Yeah.
Okay. Nikki, who's a very prolific questioner. Thanks, Nikki. We really appreciate it. So, Nikki, my question is, are there projects for each animal in the Serengeti, like the cheetah project? How does a project come about? And which animals need someone to set up? Okay, that's actually 3 questions. Okay, but that's good. Good. Thank you for those questions. So, are there projects for each animal in the Serengeti? Johnny?
There's hyena projects.
Yep.
There's lion projects.
Right.
And there is another general research, which is more of a carnivore diseases.
Right, right. So I think the answer to that is no, not for every single animal. It's certain key species.
Yeah.
And then, as John B says, sort of general ecological. You can go, the Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute, TAWIRI, Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute, TAWIRI. You could go to their website and find out more about what's going on at the Serengeti Research Project. Okay. How does the project come about? I don't think we're qualified to answer that, are we?
No, actually, I think that has to come from Tawiri, I think.
Yeah. And then which animals need someone to set it up? I think probably the ones that are... Oh,
Well, you know, the thing is, there's a lot of universities that will come with this project, like, you know, the Tawiri University of in London,
right,
which they deal with cheetahs.
right.
And then you have
Exactly.
you have another from US that they deal with lions.
Right.
You know, so you know, break pack up.
So each institution comes with its own project. Some of them are more conservation driven and some are pure science.
Yes,
Yep.
pure science.
And then you can figure out from that what the conservation issues are, maybe. So thanks for that, Nikki. Many thanks.
Right.
Good.
Sorry about that. We have a few technical issues, and it's dark, so I've got my specs on. Right. So we'll come back to you just in case we run out of questions. Renate. I hope I've got your name right.
Renate.
Renate?
Yes,
Sorry,
Renate.
Renate. There you go. Do you know if we can travel to Tanzania from Europe? Yes,
Yes,
you
you
can.
can.
Do it now, Renate. Anyone else there also wanting to travel here? Yes, you can. The airports are completely open. The government has special procedures that it's applying, and
Quarantine have been uplifted.
so there's no quarantine, and the parks, as you've seen, are fantastic.
Yeah.
So
It really has been.
do
amazing.
get here.
Please.
Do get here. Yeah, that's so great, Renee. That's lovely. Mark Bamber. Hey, Mark. Long time. Hope you're well.
Hi, Mike.
He's thoroughly enjoyed following our trip in the Serengeti, which is brilliant. How do the animals change without so many tourists around?
We keep going around and around this one. You know, it's tempting to think that there are changes. Have we, John B, do you think we've seen big changes?
We really haven't seen much of the changes. And again, it's a very short time of period to tell that whether they have changed, because it's only about 3 months, isn't it? And
4 months now.
4 months now,
But still, it's not in
it's
evolutionary terms. It's not.
Yes.
The cubs the other day, remember the first day here, was it? The lion cubs that were less than 3 months, and they were wary of us. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
yes.
Whereas
Those
the
were-
adults were just relaxed.
Yes.
So that's the kind of thing I think we'll be seeing.
Probably will say for the cubs that have been born for the last 3 months that they haven't seen any vehicles.
Exactly.
Of course, it's a shock for them to see something big coming around, of which for the parents is more of a same thing. That is we wouldn't really say if that they changed, because those did not exist. The cubs did not exist when the tourists were coming in.
Yeah.
That we can tell the difference. But for the adults, there's not much of the change.
So far. Good.
Indeed. I'd like to add one thing. I think that there's a possibility the small cats are using the road more. Because do you remember those people we met yesterday? They saw a caracal on the main road.
Yeah.
We've seen that. Oh, you haven't.
Oh,
Sorry.
turn that knife.
Anyway, so there's lots of caracal, wild cats.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're using the road a bit more because there's less traffic.
And I
And that's an
think, if I
adaptation.
can, I think that's exactly what they would do. But the first vehicle comes along and back they go into the
Yes.
grass. So exactly your
Yes.
point. Yeah.
But also, if you remember the other day, we were showing about the lion tracks,
Yeah.
or today in the morning when we leave the camps, all the hyena were packed on the road.
Yeah.
They are not in the grass.
Yeah.
I think they have to now, as long as there's nobody who is just driving back and forth. So for them, they don't see it as a road.
Yeah.
But it's more of a comfort zone.
Nice.
To
Yeah.
be. Nice.
If you imagine, I mean, like this morning, heavy dewfall, all along, there's grass around camp. I wish I could show you. It's very, very long. So you'd have long, wet
They
grass
can
in the
see from
morning.
behind.
Through there.
Through there.
Thank you. And so it's much more comfortable lying on the road where there's no grass and there's no dew, and it's all warm and relatively warm and comfy.
Brilliant. All right.
Next up.
So we have got a question from the Joyce and Hicks family. Surprise,
Oh my word.
surprise. I think that's Emma, is it? Thanks for an amazing series too. Ricardo, how did you come across the obsidian? Is there a site where there's lots of it, or was it just luck?
That one was pure luck, actually. We found some obsidian on the first episode, if you remember, the first series, if you remember. And on that side, in the eastern plains, you very often find them on the western side of the kopjes. And to this day, you'll see a little bit further east, you'll see the Maasai will set up their bomas, their encampments, on the west side of the kopjes out of the wind. I mean, the wind is howling on the eastern plains right now. Isn't it?
Yes.
They're very uncomfortable. So they set up their bomas, and I'm sure our ancestors would have done the same. And they, so you often find chips of obsidian there. In this part of the Serengeti, I really wasn't expecting to find it, so that was sheer luck. Thanks, though. Great question.
All right. This one's from Moa. Charles Martin. Hello, Charles. Most
Hi, Charles.
of my photos have been taken in the auto mode, as I am a new photographer. What's the best way to start experimenting with manual? Ooh. So, good question. That's a very good question. So, if you're doing wildlife photography, Charles, then I would think before you go to manual mode, go to aperture priority. So you set.
That's what I use.
That's what you
And
and that's all three of us use aperture priority. So you set the aperture that you want, because that affects your depth of field, how blurred the background is or how sharp it is, and then the camera will set a shutter speed. So I would start with aperture priority and just play around with it, and you'll see that you set the aperture, the camera will set the shutter speed. If your shutter speed is too slow, then you need to increase your ISO. Okay, you got that? Increase your ISO if your shutter speed is too slow.
ISO?
Not with aperture priority.
No, with aperture priority.
You can't.
You can,
Yeah.
but it's not very effective, because if you think about it, you're changing the aperture,
Yeah.
and what shutter speed are you going to put on? See, so there's certain limitations you can make in
Yeah.
settings and that sort of
Right.
thing. But if you want to set auto ISO, then you should set manually put your settings and then set auto ISO.
Okay.
Okay.
Can't know that.
Do come back to me on that, Charles, if you like. And my sincere apologies to Kat and the boys. Joyce and Hicks family is you. Mwah. Hi. See you tomorrow.
Oops.
Oops. So Charles also asks, to both of you, Richard and John, what animals do you still want to see after all these years?
Johnny, you go first.
Pangolin.
Oh, that's not fair. That's going to be my one. Okay.
Pangolin. I've been guiding for the last 20 years and never seen it.
So,
You know,
probably a lot of people don't know what a pangolin is.
yes. Pangolin is more the small sort of a rodent, I'd say, an anteater. They have a very long tongue, but sadly, they have more likely poached a lot now in Africa. You see news every day how many pangolin scales have been shipped to China. So they are also becoming one of the most rarest animals and also almost going to extinct.
Yeah. So those pangolin scales, it's the world's only scaled mammal, and those scales are highly prized in Chinese traditional medicine, unfortunately. So they're under a lot of pressure. So yeah, pangolin to me as well, I'm saying.
Okay, and me? I wasn't part of the question, sorry. Right.
Paolo.
But I'm also pangolin. So, Kevin and Ruth, hi.
Hi, Kevin.
Ruth asks, after seeing the amazing elephant photos with their great tusks, how do they control poaching in the Serengeti?
Well, luckily, and touch wood here, the elephant poaching is not a huge problem in Serengeti. I'm sure there's some going on somewhere, but it's not a huge deal. Other parts of Tanzania, it has been. In the south and the west, it's been a massive issue in the past. Thankfully, it's dying down there as well. So we're in a relatively good phase now.
And why is that?
That it's dying down.
And why is the Serengeti also so good?
Serengeti used not to be a very good elephant place. We used not to see very many. And the population has been rising over the last 20, 30 years, which is great. We see a lot more elephants now. It's great to see that. That's partly through natural regeneration, but also partly through immigration. As human populations rise outside the park, they're forced out of suitable habitat where they always lived, the forests up in the highlands there, and they are moving inside the protected areas. That's the Serengeti side.
Yeah.
In the south and west, I think, luckily, we've had a really effective response in terms of protection from the authorities.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well done. Renee, it's a great question. What happens when a tusk breaks off from an elephant? Does that hurt?
It's very hard to tell if it's hard, because on elephants we know. But you will see a lot of elephants with one short tusk and one other one longer, which normally, if breaks could be from fight, from peeling up the barks from trees or digging up the mineral. Yes, probably it hurts because I think it has a lot of nerves that go through the parts, but not the tip. Not the tip. Yeah. Of which mostly where the part that you see broken is mainly on the tip of where it's used. So it's like your nail. If you grow your nails too long, if you break the tip of it, you will probably not feel the pain.
Actually, it's really important that they break their tusks in normal wear and tear. I think for most of an elephant's life, the tusk grows at a rate of about 15 centimeters a year. Now, if you multiply that by 40 or 50 years, you've got tusks that are just way too long to be usable. So it's actually really good for them to break off the tusk tip from time to time. And this is what happens with those really huge tusk elephants. Who was it? Tim and Sada, who died recently. If they get beyond a certain size, I think that they're no longer usable. So because they're not using them, they're not breaking them, and that's when they go crazy, I believe.
Yeah, that's really good.
Nice question. Thanks.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Renate. So hi to Tommy and Sammy. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hi, guys.
And to Pat. Hi, Pat. Nikki, is Eliza okay? Well, that's a good question.
Eliza, are you okay?
Eliza,
I'm
you
gonna
just
make an appearance.
come on, make an
Yes.
appearance. She's
Oh, come on. We could have made such a good story about that.
Yes,
I'm
Eliza.
here. I am alive. I'm just editing all the content.
Get back to your desk,
Get back to
woman.
my desk.
Come on.
I have spent the entire 8 days there.
Poor Eliza. We've still got the last episode to put on,
Thanks,
and
Nikki.
it's crazy.
So, Nikki, thanks for asking. Yes, she is weaving her magic on today's episode. So we've got episode 8. The Eyes Have It.
Yep.
So that will be coming out tonight, very late, or first thing tomorrow. So hold on to your hats.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
tuned.
Look, there you go. Right, Ricardo, another question from you. No, from you.
Oh, from me. Oh, sorry. There you
yeah.
go. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, hang on. While you're looking,
Yeah.
Charles, you ask, where do I get my shirts? So, Charles, you're obviously a man of equally advanced sartorial elegance.
I can tell you where I get my shirts. but
No one wants to know where you get your shirts. Let's be honest. I mean, look. So, unfortunately, we were going to do a camouflage event, which shows how my shirts are actually more camouflage than theirs, because most mammals sit in black and white. But to answer your question, Charles, I get my shirts from Matumba, which is a second-hand clothes market in Arusha or Usa River, and I have some made. I have them made from sheets, curtains, anything really, and some I buy when I'm in the UK. But I try and avoid that because they're expensive. So there we are. Right, we got another question from Jason Jomby.
Oh.
So Jason
Oh.
Jomby, how rare are honey badgers
Hi,
in
Jason.
Serengeti? And hello, Jason.
So should I give it to you?
No, you
Oh,
answer this
really?
one. Yeah.
Oh, this is, yeah.
Hi, Jason. Yes. How rare? They are quite common to be seen, but rarely be seen because honey badgers are more likely not to know and they don't know. You would be lucky to see a honey badger, but more likely you will find them more into the plains.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. So we've got another question from Jen Safaris. Hello, hello.
Hello.
I love this question. This is brilliant. How do the birds like your shirts if they see in colour? You see, that's a very good question. The birds love my shirts,
nicely.
and I've got some flowery shirts on sometimes, and I wish for a sunbird to come hovering over my shoulders, but
Bees.
It's
As yet.
more likely to be a lappet-faced vulture or something.
So yeah, as yet I've not been approached by any nice sunbirds or anything like that, and nor any primates. So I think hopefully that answers your question. Kevin, are we going to do another series soon, gentlemen? Sorry, Eliza.
No,
Big thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
Big thumbs up.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
thumbs up from here.
So we are going to do our next series starting around July the 20th, and it's going to be the Kogatende series.
We're gonna be seeing the Mara River dramas.
the Mara River dramas.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
Can't
And
wait.
it's very exciting. Completely different area, different landscape.
And it's a gorgeous landscape up there with all the coffee.
so beautiful.
Yeah, favorite.
So as you are subscribed, you'll hear when we send out our little trailer. But that's very exciting for all of us to be up there.
Absolutely. And please come back. If you like to come back for more, we'd love to see you.
Looking forward to
Yes.
see you back, Kevin.
Definitely. And Kevin says, woohoo. Nice. Good job. And Jen, LOL. Is that lots of love or laugh out
Lots
loud?
of love, definitely lots of love.
Lots of love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jen, we're going with lots
That
of love.
would be Jen.
I'm sure that's not
I've got a
right.
couple if you want.
All right, go.
Okay, so let's do two at a time, shall we? So, John B,
Yes.
why do zebras and wildebeest often move together? Just hold it for the moment.
Yeah.
Paul, Jeremy, and Andy both asking. You asked a zoom. You recommended a zoom lens.
Mhm.
Can you comment on the advantages, if any, of a good bridge camera?
Bridge
Yeah,
camera.
so just wait for it.
Oh.
So have you both got your questions?
Right.
And then I have a question from James, Ben, and Matthew, who'd like to know how we can sleep in tents and calmly sit around doing Q&A so I can put my specs back on without a lion or other animal pouncing or trampling on you. Okay?
Oh,
So I'm
good
doing
questions.
the pouncing and trampling. You're doing
Okay.
the
Zebra and wildebeest.
moving together, and
Yes.
you're doing the zoom lens.
All right. Zoom lens or bridge camera?
Bridge camera.
Okay, bridge camera. Okay, so bridge cameras are gaining popularity at the moment because they are cheaper. They tend to be cheaper than DSLRs, and they're much, much smaller and much, much lighter. So lots of people are looking at them for, positively because of that issue. You can get very high quality sensors. You can get a great camera. I think you saw, was it this one or last series, where I have a bridge camera for my sort of wide angle.
For that
Is that-
tree shot.
Tree shot, the
Exactly.
elephants when the elephants were too close.
Exactly. And I don't use it very much, so I have a bridge camera, and it's beautiful. It's less expensive and light. So if you're wondering about weight or if you've got back problems or you don't carry heavy camera bags, then bridge cameras are good. They're good. I can't believe I'm saying that, but they are. Yeah. John B.
Good, yeah. The question was mutual relationship there. First of all, the zebras do graze on longer grass. That they create that level where the wildebeest will come and graze behind them. So another fact is the wildebeest do have a very good sense of smelling, knowing where the water is, knowing smell the clouds where where the rains will be raining. So there is a mutual there where the zebras will move along with wildebeest. So you have zebras going ahead, grazing on long grass, and you have wildebeest behind them. But at the same time, wildebeest are very good on relocating where water areas are, rivers and lakes and ponds.
And they
Yeah.
they're not always exactly together, are they? You
Yes,
often find
no.
the zebra move in first,
Yes.
that long grass, like you're saying.
But a lot of people always think that they move together. Like you saw big herds of zebras, very few wildebeest
Very
in it, but the big herds already move ahead.
Cool. Nice. Very nice. So I was asked a question from the three boys about safety in these camps. Well, the first point is, as you see, we're very happy sitting around here. We don't feel threatened at all. And we've had, since we've been here 10 days now, we've had lion roaring within 200 or 300 meters of camp. We had buffalo right in camp, almost tripping out. We don't have direct coming through, but
No.
almost about
Hyenas
within
every day.
the hyenas every day. The other day, the camp crew had to chase the hyenas away from the cook tent in the middle of the night. Poor guys. So one thing to understand is none of these animals are out to get us at all. Chase the hyenas away from the cook tent in the middle of the night. Poor guys. So one thing to understand is none of these animals are out to get us at all. They're not on the menu for predators. So unless we upset the animals in some way, they're just not out to get us. So it's actually a very, very safe experience. In fact, certainly walking out there and trying to approach these big animals, and it can be just a wonderful experience. So it's very, very safe. Please, if you're ever thinking about safari, don't worry about the safety aspect. If it weren't safe, we wouldn't be doing it.
That's correct.
Okay.
You would have been
Pat. Pat. So as I just said, I am literally Mr. Invisible when I'm in the bush with my shirts on because the lions.
Actually, can you expand on that? Why for lions and things? Because we can see your shirts very well.
Yes.
Why aren't the lions?
because they see in black and white.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
see
exactly.
colours.
They don't see in colors. So you'll find there'll be some reptiles that see in color. Primates will see in color. Birds, of course. Insects.
The things that are colourful tend to be able to see in colour.
That's
If
very
you
good.
look at the mammals out on the plains, they're usually drab colours. Think of a lion.
Yeah.
Think of a giraffe. Think of a Thompson's gazelle, impala. They're all neutral colours. Yeah. So that idea of a red rag to a bull, you know, the
Neutral
bull,
colour.
Yeah.
the bull ring with the red thing, it's nothing to do with the colour of the cape. It's all to do with the movement.
Excellent. Excellent. Question. Right. Nikki, did you know this was an issue? So Nikki has asked, as you can probably all see, is zebra the correct pronunciation? No, that is right. That's right. That's right.
Maybe.
No, that's fine.
But anyway, I'm a Brit, but I've always said zebra. So it's one of those things.
Tommy and Sammy have left anyway. So do Tommy and Sammy see in color? Asks Pat. Well, as primates, they definitely see
They
in
definitely
colour.
do.
Yeah. Right. Ricardo,
No.
have you got another question
Oh,
there?
Lord. Okay.
Yeah, there's a question here. I think it
Yep.
was asked by Amanda Pippa. Why does leopards have sport?
Oh, yeah. And I thought that might be a trick question. Do you want to answer that one?
So the question was, why
Does leopard have sport?
does the leopard have spots?
Yes,
Go on, answer it then.
because they're already spotted.
Come on, go on, Johnny. Look.
Okay, well, that was a joke. The evolution have taken place and adapted to have that tawny color. If you look at the lion, tiny lion cub, have always had those rosette spots.
True.
So it's all about adaptations. The spots that from the leopard, they use them for camouflage. That's why we can't see them. They have spots. They blend in trees. We drive without seeing them.
Yep, very good.
Often drive past them, I think.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah,
Good.
you ready for one here?
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to ask one here. Hi, Ames. Amy Rice asks, Luke wants to see a wild dog. He's asking if there are any in the Serengeti.
I think you, Paolo. I think this is your question.
Well, as you know, Lukey, I love wild dogs, and there are wild dogs in the Serengeti, but they're very, very hard to see because there are not many of them, and they have huge territories wide. So, you know, a lion will have a much smaller territory. These wild dogs will go far and wide. So there are a few wild dogs in the Serengeti. I don't know the population. Do you?
Neither.
I don't think anyone really knows the
And
population.
actually, quite a lot of them live mainly outside the park. Don't they, on
Yeah,
the eastern side.
and then they come in,
Yeah.
especially in the southern area or in the eastern area. That's where Jan saw them in the Mood area. So there are very few that are actually living in the park, but they do roam inside. So we didn't see any this time, sadly.
I think for all of us, it's one of our favourite animals. Isn't
Definitely.
It?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
a real highlight when you
Oh,
see
yes.
one
Real
of those
highlight,
animals,
yeah. So while Ricardo is looking for another question, if anybody there has any questions, do just pop them in the notes there.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's sundowners time. Yay!
Okay. So are we done? Can I go now?
No, yeah, question.
So nice question from Isabella. Hi, Isabella. How do ants? This refers to the post. It was yesterday's episode, wasn't it?
Mm.
How do ants follow each other, even if the scout doesn't lead them? And how do they communicate?
Ooh,
From the way she phrases this question, I think she already knows the answer, doesn't she?
it sounds like it, doesn't it?
It
Yeah,
really does. Yeah, shall I do that one?
yeah, you do that. Yeah.
Okay, so in that group, the hissing ants or matabele ants that we filmed, the food source, for instance, an undefended termite mound, maybe a termite mound that's been broken open by an aardvark, they'll go open and they find it. Now the termites at that point, the termite soldiers, they have to kill that scout. It's really, really important. They can't let it get back. But if they fail and the scout gets back, he leaves a scent trail. I think this is what you're getting at, a pheromone trail, which he leads him back to his home, and then he can lead all his fellows back out again to the place, and then they can get home. Like I said, I think you already knew the answer there. Thanks anyway.
Excellent. Right, John B, question for you. Ruth asks, do we have melanistic leopards in the Serengeti? Mm. Good question.
Very good question. I actually don't remember if have anyone ever been.
Never seen.
We have never seen one, though we saw the melanistic sevil.
Yep.
Melanistic sevil has been recorded, but melanistic leopard, no, we haven't seen in the Serengeti.
Yeah.
But they used to be seen in the crater back in the days.
Did they?
Yes.
And you see, that's the thing. I think there's a link between altitude, isn't there,
Yes.
and melanism?
Yes.
It's more in cat, not in birds and other species. But I think in cats, you're more likely to see melanistic cats in high altitude areas. So there was that. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
There we go. So almost from the horse's mouth there. Yeah. So if any of you can contradict me and correct me on that, please, I'd love to know.
But there isn't. So there's a likelihood that they won't be here because of its altitude. But there's no sort of other physiological reason why this genetic thing couldn't occur in the Serengeti.
Not that I know of.
No.
Again, it'd be great to hear from anybody.
Yeah.
No.
Jen Safaris, melanistic badger,
Melanistic badger.
melanistic
Oh.
honey badger.
Wow.
Have you
I'd
got
forgotten about that.
what?
Yeah, because we saw.
You did
we
not.
absolutely did.
You did not.
I'll find you a photo. It wasn't, Jen, if I'm right, it wasn't purely grey cape, didn't it? Is that right? Could please get back to it, because I can't remember exactly. But it was a really dark honey badger. She's absolutely right.
Wow.
I've forgotten about that.
Could it not have just been muddy?
What, like the? Am I allowed to mention today's episode?
Yeah.
Like the cobra with mud on its head, which confused us with its coloration.
Exactly.
Because we thought it was
Yeah.
the scales, and it wasn't. It was the
Exactly.
mud.
Could have been rolling in an ash.
Do you know, we looked at that quite. We thought that might be the case because it had just been digging. This was in Moru. Yeah, great question. So, yeah, I think melanism